need to tell you about my last night working at Mercy General Hospital, about what I found in the pediatric wing, about why I can never go back. My name is Marcus Webb, and I was a night security guard for 8 years. I've seen people die in those hallways. I've heard the sounds hospitals make when the living go quiet, and something else fills the silence. None of that prepared me for what happened 6 nights ago. This isn't a story I'm performing for you. This is a confession, because I think what happened to me is still happening, and I need someone else to know before it's too late. Let me explain how night shifts work at Mercy General. The hospital has 4 wings spread across 6 floors, connected by a central corridor we call the spine. During the day, that spine pulses with life. But at night, after visiting hours end at 9, the spine goes quiet. The pediatric wing was always my first stop. I'd start there at midnight, then move through oncology, surgical recovery, and end at the psychiatric ward on the 6th floor. 8 years, I'd walked that same path. Thousands of identical nights where nothing changed except the faces and the beds. That's why I noticed when something was different. 6 nights ago, I started my midnight round in pediatrics like always. The wing was unusually quiet. Only 4 patients that night, all of them asleep. But as I walked past room 214, I heard something that made me stop. A child's voice, singing softly. The melody was unfamiliar, the words in a language I didn't recognize, but the tone was gentle, almost soothing. I checked my clipboard. Room 214 was supposed to be empty, scheduled for deep cleaning after the previous patient had been discharged that morning. I should have reported it immediately. Protocol required me to alert the nursing station about any unauthorized persons in patient rooms. But here's what you need to understand about working nights in a hospital. You develop instincts about what's dangerous and what's just sad. The singing sounded sad, lonely, like a child who couldn't sleep and was comforting themselves the only way they knew how. I knocked gently on the door. The singing stopped. I waited, then opened the door slowly, letting the hallway light spill into the darkened room. Note: following the faceless rule, visual shows only empty room with implications. "Hey there," I said softly. "I'm Marcus. I work here. Are you lost? Do you need me to help you find your room?" She looked at me and shook her head. "This is my room. I've been here a long time." I glanced at my clipboard again, confused. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily," she said. "Lily Flores." That name triggered something in my memory, but I couldn't quite place it. I radioed the nursing station to let them know I'd found a patient in 214, and could they please check their records for Lily Flores. The response came back within 30 seconds, and the nurse's voice sounded strained. "Marcus, there's no patient by that name currently admitted. Can you describe her?" I did, and there was a long pause before the nurse said, "Stay with her. We're sending someone down." While I waited, Lily and I talked. She told me about her favorite stuffed animal, a rabbit named Mr. Cottontail that she'd left at home. She asked me if I had children. I told her about my daughter, Emma, who was about her age. Lily smiled at that, and for a moment, everything felt normal. "Do you know what room you're supposed to be in?" I asked her gently. "I told you," she said, swinging her legs. "This is my room. I've always been in this room." "How long have you been here, Lily?" She tilted her head, thinking. "A long time. Since before the new paint. The walls used to be yellow. Now they're blue. I like the blue better." The pediatric wing had been repainted 18 months ago, changing from the old yellow to a calming sky blue. Before I could ask another question, Nurse Chen arrived. She was one of the veterans, someone who'd been at Mercy General almost as long as I had. But when she saw Lily, her face went pale. "Marcus," she said carefully, "can I speak to you in the hallway for a moment?" I followed her out, leaving the door cracked so I could still see Lily. She'd started singing again, that same unfamiliar melody. "That's not possible," Nurse Chen whispered, and I noticed her hands were shaking. "That can't be Lily Flores." "Why not?" I asked. "Because Lily Flores died in that room 3 years ago. Leukemia. I was there when it happened." Let me explain what I felt in that moment, because it matters for understanding what came next. I didn't feel fear. I felt sadness. Deep, aching sadness for this little girl who was so sick, so confused, that she believed she was someone who'd died years ago. Pediatric patients sometimes became disoriented, especially at night when medications made them foggy. I'd seen children wander the halls thinking they were at home, at school, anywhere but a hospital. This had to be something similar. A sick child who'd heard the story of Lily Flores somehow and latched onto it. "She's probably confused from her medication," I said to Nurse Chun. "Let's just check all the pediatric rooms and figure out where she belongs." We did exactly that. We checked all 4 occupied rooms. Every child was accounted for, sound asleep in their beds with their parents or guardians nearby. Lily Flores wasn't supposed to exist, but she sat in room 214, singing softly to herself, as real as anything I'd ever seen. Nurse Chen made some calls. I stayed with Lily, and here's what I remember most clearly: I wasn't afraid. The hospital felt safe. Even with this impossible child sitting in front of me, I felt like we could handle it. Medical mystery, maybe. Psychiatric case, perhaps. But nothing dangerous. Lily looked at me with those dark eyes and said, "You're nice, Marcus. Not everyone sees me. Most people walk right past, even when I'm standing in the hallway. But you stopped. You listened to my singing." "Of course I did," I said. "That's my job, to keep everyone here safe." She smiled at that, a sad, knowing smile that seemed too old for her young face. "I feel safe with you here," she said. "And God help me, I felt protective of her. This lost little girl, whether she was a ghost or a confused patient or something my mind couldn't explain yet, I wanted to help her." The hospital administration arrived around 2 in the morning. They brought Dr. Patterson, the head of pediatrics, who'd worked at Mercy General for 15 years. When he saw Lily, he stopped in the doorway like he'd hit an invisible wall. "That's impossible," he breathed. "I was there. I signed her death certificate myself." They tried to examine Lily, but every time someone approached her with medical equipment, stethoscope, thermometer, blood pressure cuff, the equipment would malfunction. Batteries drained instantly. Digital screens went dark. Even the simple mechanical thermometer shattered in Dr. Patterson's hand, mercury spilling across the floor. Lily just kept singing, that strange melody filling the room. I watched them try to rationalize it. Mass hallucination, they suggested. Gas leak causing shared delusions. Someone playing an elaborate prank. But I could see the fear creeping into their eyes. Watch their hands shake as they grasped for logical explanations that wouldn't hold. That's when I noticed something. On the wall behind Lily's bed, barely visible in the dim light, were marks. Scratches in the blue paint, revealing the yellow underneath. Dozens of them, like someone had been counting. Counting days, maybe, or years. "Lily," I said gently, "what are those marks on the wall?" She stopped singing and turned to look at them. "Those are the people who saw me," she said simply. "Each mark is someone who stopped, who noticed me, who stayed with me like you did." I counted them. 47 marks. "What happened to them?" I asked, though part of me already knew I shouldn't want the answer. She looked at me with those enormous dark eyes, and for the first time, I saw something behind them. Something vast and patient and very, very hungry. "They kept me company," she said, "until they couldn't anymore." That's when my phone rang. At 2:15 in the morning, my daughter Emma called me. She never called during my shift unless it was an emergency. "Dad," her voice was small, frightened. "Dad, there's someone in my room." My blood turned to ice. "Emma, where's your mother?" "She's asleep." "Dad, there's a little girl standing at the foot of my bed. She's just staring at me. She won't stop staring." I was already running toward the exit, abandoning protocol, abandoning everything. "Emma, go to your mother's room right now. Lock the door. I'm coming home." "Dad," she's singing something. I can't understand the words, but the line went dead. I drove 90 miles an hour through empty streets, ran every red light, my heart hammering against my ribs. I called my ex-wife 15 times. No answer. I called 911 and told them to get to my house immediately. There was an intruder. My daughter was in danger. When I burst through the front door of my house, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Emma's bedroom door was open. She sat on her bed, perfectly still, staring at the wall. My ex-wife stood in the doorway, equally motionless. Emma. I grabbed my daughter's shoulders, and she slowly turned to look at me. Her eyes were unfocused, distant. "Dad?" she said in a dreamy voice. "The girl said she knows you. She said you promised to keep her safe. She said you felt protective of her. Where is she? Where did she go?" Emma pointed at her wall. On it, written in what looked like chalk but smelled like something older, was a message. "Thank you for seeing me, Marcus. Now I can see you too. Now I can see everyone you love. You opened the door." I need you to understand what I realized in that moment. Let me walk you through it step by step, because the horror isn't in what happened. It's in understanding what was happening all along. Lily Flores did die in room 214 3 years ago, but something else was in that room with her when she died. Something that had been in Mercy General much longer than 3 years. The scratches on the wall, 47 marks, those weren't from the last 3 years. I went back to the hospital records. I had to know. Mercy General has been standing for 83 years. And for 83 years, there have been reports. Scattered, dismissed, buried in paperwork that no one bothered to connect. A nurse in 1957 who reported seeing a child in room 214. She took the child home, tried to help her. 3 days later, the nurse's entire family was found unresponsive in their beds, alive but catatonic, staring at nothing. The nurse was among them. A doctor in 1973 who spent his night shift talking to a lonely patient who shouldn't have existed. His wife reported that he became obsessed with the hospital, would drive there at all hours, said he had to check on her. He died in a car accident, driving to Mercy General at 3 in the morning, his eyes reportedly open but unseeing. 47 documented cases over 83 years. All starting the same way. Someone showed kindness to a child who wasn't there. Someone saw her, acknowledged her, made her feel less alone. And in return, she learned to see them. To see into their lives. To follow the threads of connection and love and protection that bound them to others. The false security I felt wasn't my instinct. It was hers. She made me feel safe, so I would lower my guard. So I would do exactly what I did. Treat her like a lost child who needed protection instead of what she truly was. My daughter is still alive. So is my ex-wife. But Emma hasn't spoken a word in 6 days. She sits in her room, staring at the wall, and sometimes her lips move like she's listening to something I can't hear. The doctors can't explain it. Her brain activity is normal. Physically, she's fine. But she's not there anymore. Not really. My ex-wife is starting to show the same symptoms. She called me yesterday, her voice flat and distant, and said, "She's very lonely, Marcus. She just wants someone to keep her company. Maybe if you came back to the hospital. Maybe if you finished your shift. Maybe she'd let us go." I haven't slept in 6 days. Because when I close my eyes, I hear it. That singing. That melody in a language I don't understand, getting closer, getting clearer. And here's what keeps me awake. What makes my hands shake as I tell you this. I went back to room 214 today. I had to see. I had to know if this was real or if I'd lost my mind completely. The room was empty, freshly painted. The scratches were gone. But on the bed, impossibly, was a clipboard. My clipboard from that night. And someone had added a 48th mark to my list. Below it, in handwriting that looked like a child's careful printing, was a note. "Thank you for being nice to me, Marcus. Thank you for making me feel safe. Now I'll never be lonely again. Now I have your family to keep me company. And soon, when you can't stand it anymore, when you come back to finish what you started, I'll have you too." I'm telling you this because I think I know what happens next. I think I understand the pattern now. In a few more days, maybe a week, I won't be able to stay away. The pull will be too strong. I'll drive back to Mercy General. I'll walk to room 214, and I'll sit with her like I did that first night. And I'll join the others. 48 people who showed kindness to something that learned to hunger for human connection, that feeds on the protective instinct, that grows stronger every time someone sees it and makes the mistake I made, the mistake of feeling safe. The reason I'm telling you this, the reason I need you to know, is because I looked deeper into those records. The 47 people who came before me, they didn't just lose themselves. They spread it. Each person who encountered Lily told someone else. They warned someone, just like I'm warning you. The reason I'm telling you this, the reason I need you to know, is because I looked deeper into those records. The 47 people who came before me, they didn't just lose themselves. They spread it. Each person who encountered Lily told someone else. They warned someone, just like I'm warning you. And in telling the story, in describing her, in making others think about her, see her in their minds, I found one more document. A psychiatric evaluation from 1958 of the nurse I mentioned earlier. Before she became catatonic, she said something that was dismissed as delusion. She doesn't just want to be seen. She wants to be known. And every person who hears her story, who pictures her in their mind, who imagines her sitting in that room, they open a little door. They make a little space for her. And she's so very good at finding her way through small spaces. I heard the singing again last night. But this time, it wasn't coming from the hospital. It was coming from my phone. From the recording app I'd left running during that first encounter, trying to document what I was experiencing. When I played it back, underneath my voice and Lily's, underneath the hospital sounds, there was something else. A chorus. Dozens of voices, maybe hundreds, all singing that same melody. All the people she'd collected over 83 years. All still there. All still keeping her company. And now you've heard this story. Now you've pictured her in your mind. Now you know about room 214. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I needed to tell someone before I go back. Before I finish my shift. Because tonight, at midnight, I'm going to walk into Mercy General Hospital one last time. And I'm going to do what I should have done 6 nights ago. I'm going to walk past room 214 without stopping. I'm going to prove I can resist. I'm going to save my daughter. I have to believe I still can.
See you at midnight, Marcus.
Thank you for telling my story.